Hey guys, welcome to the Cash Flow Talk. You've seen my videos, you know what I'm all about, you know I'm a real estate investor, but many of you guys don't know my story, where I come from, how I came to this country, and I wanted to share that with you in today's episode of the Cash Flow Talk. Join me right now. Hey guys, welcome to the Cash Flow Talk. So yes, I am going to share a little video about who I am, where I came from, and my story behind the scenes before I came to this country, because it's kind of impactful if you think about it. So stay with me in the next few minutes. I'll share it with you and I'll try to be as brief as I can. I'm from Colombia. Medellin is my city. I love that city. I go back every single year, a couple times. But I used to live in that country, obviously in that city, obviously in the 1990s. I was born in 1986, and then the 1990s were probably the hardest era of my country, especially my city. Yes, that's Pablo Escobar's city. There was a lot of violence. There was a lot of violent attacks. There was a lot of robberies and people stealing everything. And there was a nightmare every single day. My parents had to struggle picking us up from soccer games and from the school and from daycare, whatever it was. It was a struggle in the 1990s because we didn't feel safe. And it was just a nightmare. It was every time when I wanted to grab a bus or a taxi, or they were picking me up in the car or something, we had to keep four eyes open all the time, just looking at everything, because we had to be very aware of where we were. And at nights, there were these bomb explosions at nights. They were terrible. I had to experience, unfortunately, I experienced 9 of them, of which they were close to my city. I would hear them where they were. I am fortunate enough that I never experienced anything crazy in my house. None of my windows ever broke. None of them never was close to my building. But it was that constant nightmare, constant being frightened every single day about the situation. Now, point aside, and I'm going to go back to this. My parents were always business owners. They used to own a store in a shopping center in a mall where they used to sell sportswear. They brought it from Panama and Miami actually to sell Nike and Adidas and all these sportswear stuff. And so they were always entrepreneurs. Fortunately, they were self-employed. They were selling. They were, I would say, making money, but they didn't know anything about holding the money or managing the money. And both things combined, the money management and the violence in my country was that brought us to this country. We had to escape out of there. And just to give you a brief example of what got us to this country, or what was the lowest point in the 1990s, early 2000s, I think it was the early 2000 year. It was the lowest point of my family, my parents. I was home. My dad had just brought us from school. He picked us up from school, me and my sister, and there was a cleaning lady in our house. So it was all 4 of us. My mom was at the store working, which was about 5 minutes away from our home. And this day, he had just grabbed a hot coffee that the cleaning lady just brought him, and he received these phone calls. So he still had the full cup of coffee in his hands, and he received this phone call. He threw the cup in the ground. Everything went like a mess. He kind of burned himself a little bit, and he started screaming and yelling like crazy. I'll never know what this phone call was all about, but he punched the wall. He broke the wall, actually, and he started screaming like crazy. He started grabbing his head. I can't believe it. I can't take this anymore. This is bullshit, obviously in Spanish. Obviously, I was 14, my sister was 13, and the cleaning lady, we all 3 went to each of our rooms, so we kind of got away from him. Obviously, we were scared. He was screaming like crazy. We've never seen my dad like that. He grabbed his head, he went to his room, he threw himself in the mattress, in the bed, and he started screaming like crazy and punching the pillows and punching the bed, and he started asking for help. He started calling us. Come here, don't leave me alone. Everything was screaming like as loud as he can, top of his lungs. He was screaming like crazy. Come here, don't leave me alone. Please come and help me out. Don't leave me alone. Come over. So obviously I was the oldest son, obviously, and I came to him. I called my sister, please come with me. And I started hugging him like, we're here, please calm down, relax, this and that. And so he told my sister, Stay with me, Camilo, go get mom from the store. I went running like crazy, like I didn't stop. It was the biggest sprint I've ever had. And I was crying while I was picking her up. I said, Mom, you have to come home. Please, please come home. My dad is like crazy. I don't know what's going on. Please come. Anyways, long story short, after a couple hours, he was calmed down. I'll never know what the conversation was all about, but that was a decision-making moment for my family. 2 weeks later, we were in this country, and one of my personal turning points was in the airplane, the day that we were coming here. We had to sell everything. We gave everything away, like nothing material we kept. And we came to this country with like $2,000 or $3,000 in my dad's pocket to buy regular food and supplies for two weeks, I would guess. Try to look for a job. And when we came to this country, my dad was on the airplane and he was whistling, he was singing, he was another person. Like I hadn't seen that person in a couple of years because of the stress, the financial struggle, the violence, everything. And it was so crazy that that day I was thinking, I was old enough to understand that something was right, but something was wrong, and change needed to happen. And I said, well, what can I learn from my dad and my mom? That they always been entrepreneurs. They have always been business-minded people, self-employed, and I thought they were successful. But what brought us to this country? What's taking us from Colombia, bringing us to a new country, and why don't we have any money? And so I became my mission for the next couple of years to find out what it was. And the reason is they didn't know how to manage money. So that was my turning point. And that's where I said, okay, for the next few years, I'm going to learn about business. I'm going to take the good things about them, which is selling and being entrepreneur and being a business owner, working for myself, not having to depend on anybody else, and having the limit of my income be my own limit, being on my mind. But at the same time, I need to manage money well and manage the situation and manage investments, because as much as they could sell, we were always struggling every single month trying to come up with rent or mortgage and the monthly bills and groceries and paying for school and all these things, and I never knew what it was. So anyways, long story short, 2 weeks later, we were in this country trying to survive. We came here with 4 suitcases, one for each. And we started living with on the floor. It was a carpet 1-bedroom apartment in Pembroke Pines, Florida, and that was it. Like my parents would actually sleep in the living room, and my sister and I would sleep in the only bedroom that we had in the floor. He made in those 2 weeks, he made some phone calls of people that were living here, and we got some furniture donated. So as soon as we moved in, the first couple nights we slept on the floor, but we were grateful. We were together. We never lost that relationship. We never lost that family unity, which I'm so grateful for. Many families get divorced for a situation like this, but I think this situation got my parents stronger and got my sister and I stronger as a family, and we got together. And for the next few years, it was a constant struggle trying to come up with the money to pay rent, but at least we had the tranquility that, okay, I'm gonna get up to work. Like my parents, obviously, I was going to school, but my parents were like, okay, I'm gonna get up to work, I'm gonna make it happen, I'm gonna start from scratch, and I'm gonna make things work. And just kids, go to school, learn, do the best you can, learn from everything that we're doing, but never lose that part of the family of being together. Never lose faith. Keep working hard, and that was it. So that's about it in my story. Again, I just wanted to share that a little bit about me. I think it's important for people to know who I am, where I come from. I'm so grateful for my family, for my parents, for all the sacrifices that they made throughout the years to bring us to this country and give us this beautiful opportunity to be educated here. I got a degree here in FIU, which I'm so grateful for. I never would have thought that would have happened if it wasn't for that big decision of their lives to bring us here. Now, we miss our country. Our country is beautiful today. We go 2 or 3 times a year. We have a nice little apartment in there, and we go visit family. All my uncles, aunts, and cousins, and everybody, grandparents, they live in Colombia, but it's just us 4 living here. Obviously, my family grew with my beautiful wife, my beautiful daughter. My sister's getting married next year, so our American family is growing, but my Colombian family is still in my heart. and that's what I wanted to share with you guys. So that's where my entrepreneurial mindset came from. I wanted to share that with you guys, wanted to inspire you. And those of you who want to know a little bit more, everything is in our book, Cashflowpreneur. We wrote the story, and that's one of the reasons why we wrote this book, is because many people were asking me through the years about my story, and they were inspired about how we came to this country. And I'm actually kind of inspired too about my story every time I say it, because we had a rough, it's not easy to come to this country with no legal, obviously we came with political asylum to this country, being protected from the violence and all this stuff. But we came to this country with no experience, no knowledge, no money, no nothing. We had to start from scratch. And a few years later, we're living the American dream. And so, guys, if you don't have the book, I highly recommend it. You can get it on Amazon or in our website, cashflowpreneurbook.com. But it's not about the book. This video is about sharing my story, who I am, where I come from. And I hope that helps you, inspires you to get better every single day. Keep grinding, keep hustling. This is a beautiful country. This country gives us opportunities every single day. That's it, guys. If you like it, let me know what your thoughts are. Like it, share it, comment, let me know your thoughts, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Have a good one. Bye-bye.